one of the toughest things for us to get over as human beings is rejection. There's something that's in our mind that allows us to do everything we can in order for us not to be rejected. No matter what we do, everything we do is for acceptance. And when you think of rejection, you think in terms of nobody wants you. Nobody wants to be around you. Sort of like you're ostracized. And no one wants to be ostracized from a society or from a group or from individuals. So we do what we can. We're taught, or we subconsciously know, or we try to do what we can to be accepted, to fit in. The deal is this: you only need to be who you are in order to attract and be around the people that you need to be with, either romantically or platonically. No matter what, your only requirement on this earth is for you to quintessentially be who you are. Because we want to be accepted, we so often worry about if we're going to be picked. Is this person, we may like a person, or we may like a company, or we may like a group of individuals. We may want to hang around this group of individuals. And we'll do whatever we can to be around these individuals or to get these people to like us. And when they don't like us, it's one of the most deflating things that you can go through, because that rejection is something serious. Herein lies the point. It's not about rejection. Rejection is a myth. It's about preference. What do I mean? There are billions of people in the world, and these billions of people all think a certain way. I can recall trying to date certain women, and these women saying, no, I don't want you. Now, I used to take it personally because I'm like, what? You don't want me? What you mean you don't want me? What's going on? And then when you would see the guys that they were with, that they were choosing, not because we're judging, but you would look and say, like, nah, that can't be. It can't be possible that I lost to this guy. That can't be possible. That the dog lost to this guy. And when you would see these guys, you would just be like, what is going on in her mind? And to be honest with you, I would lose respect for women. When I would see the guys that they were dealing with, I wasn't hating. I just would lose. I would move away from them. I would lose respect because I thought I had a thing in my mind of who I thought the kind of guys that they would want to be around. And when I saw the stuff that they were dealing with, I just shook my head. I felt embarrassed. I was like, how could I lose to this guy? And what I realized is, a woman told me one time, she said, I like heavy-set guys with a little gut, with a little stomach. Now here I am, I'm hitting the gym. You know, we hitting the gym, athletic. You know, I'm about 6'4", 6'5". Up until this point, I've pretty much had, you know, reasonably success. I'm not the finest guy on the planet, but I'm also not the ugliest guy. You know, I'm a humble guy, but I've been able to deal with the women that I like for the most part, right? For the most part, whether different situations have happened, you know, it didn't work out for whatever reason. Different teams that I've wanted to be on, I've been able to be on them, but I've also faced that rejection of not being on them. And this is what I realized, that it's about fit. It's about preference and it's about fit. So there's no reason to beat yourself up, because as this woman told me, she liked guys that were heavy set with a little gut. And she was really serious about that. She said, no, you're too skinny. I mean, you know, you got some muscles and stuff like that, but you're too skinny. And I'm like, I'm 195, I'm 200. I'm not like light in the ass, as they say. It wasn't like you could just push me. I'm still strong. It wasn't like you could just push me and I will fall down. But it was then that I realized that this has nothing to do with you being rejected. Everyone has a certain set of preferences. Some people like light-skinned people. Some people like dark-skinned people. Some people like tall people. Some people like shorter people. Some people like athletic. Some people like non-athletic. Some people like people that went to an Ivy League school. Some people like people that went to a black college. It just depends upon who is doing the selecting. So what usually happens is that we will take an event and we will place ourselves, we'll make that be our trait. For example, if you fail a test in school, that is an event. It doesn't mean that you're a failure, because usually a person will say, this person is a failure. Look at what they've done. But as long as you are alive, you have an opportunity to change something. So if I failed this test today, but I came back next week and I passed that test. Now, am I a winner all of a sudden, right? Am I successful all of a sudden just because I passed that test? The next test I could fail. So what we understand is these are events. When somebody rejects you, that's just their preference. There's another person that will like you. There's another job that will like you. What you bring to the table, your assets, your skills. It depends on what someone is looking for. So you have no reason to worry about rejection, because who's ever rejecting you, that means that that's not for you. Even deeper, that means that that's a protection, because had you gone into the situation, it may be worse off for you. So you are being protected when you get that so-called rejection or the so-called preference. It's just that they preferred this particular person. That is not an indication that that person is better than you, because we're all judging based upon subjective characteristics that we want, things that we like. And so we're all not the same. We're not from the same socioeconomic background, race, neighborhood, country. So people are going to make their selections based upon what they think are good. So you may be using a rational mind based upon your experiences, thinking that I'm a good fit for this person, or we should get along, and then they'll come and make a decision that's totally opposite of what you would have thought. And you would take it personal. Like I was taking it personal. I'm like, wait, what? I was taking it personal when I had no reason to take it personal, because that rejection, it stings, especially as a man, especially if you like someone. That rejection stings. You like, and then it's worse when you see the candidate that they picked for the job or the player that they put on a team above you. But what will happen is this: you'll go to another team, that coach will want you, and now you're playing all the minutes. So it wasn't that you're not good. It's not about you looking good or you looking bad. It's what the person is looking for. So it's preference. So you don't need to be afraid to approach someone. You don't need to be afraid to go after a business, go after a client. You don't need to be afraid to apply for a job, apply for a school. Does not every school have their requirements? What is Cornell? What does Yale? What is Harvard? What is Princeton? Do they not have their requirements? So you might not have a 3.5 or a 3.8 GPA, a 32 on the ACT. You may not have that score. That does not mean that that you're not smart. That just means that these are the preferences that they're going by. This is the criteria that they're going by. And so if you fit that criteria, you may have a chance to attend that university. But the fact that you don't attend a university does not mean that you're not smart. Does everybody that goes to these schools, do they come out making millions of dollars? No. Some people that have not gone to school at all make millions of dollars, and people that have gone to those schools are the ones that are working for them. Why? Because the brain works differently. The human brain cannot be calculated. So you're never out, you're never down. We have a saying, if you sleep on me, you're bound to wake up on a bed of nails. So that means that, hey, if you reject me, there's no coming back. Because you sleeping on me, I'm not the person to sleep on. So I'm not upset about it. I just understand that I wasn't their preference. And I never want to get into a situation where somebody is taking you on, right? It's taking you on. I'll never forget, there was a woman. Well, women are usually like this. I was in high school, and my man Fonzo, shout out to Fonzo, his cousin, she said, he's cute, he's got some potential. And I thought that was funny because I saw the boyfriend. She was a year older than me, but she was a cutie pie. I never really pursued it, but she said, I could work with him. He's got some potential. And I just said, man, that ain't really good enough. You know, that's not enough for me to really pursue like that. But all that to say that, you know, she had, I guess I could fit into her preferences, so to speak, but I wanted to where she was drooling her to the point to where she was essentially really wanting me. Not like I'll take you on, you know. And I learned those lessons early, that it was nothing to be upset about. And so I want you to understand that there's nothing for you to be, don't feel dejected if you're not selected, because that just means that you're being protected, realistically. And I didn't even mean for that to rhyme, but that's just how it goes. So you need to be solid up here, and you need to understand that you're being protected. That's the entire thing. Let everyone make their choices. You have your preferences. Someone might like you, and you may not like them, but they may be a good-looking person. There are many celebrities, many people that people like, and they say, man, you don't like so-and-so? I'm like, no, they're not really my style. Now, she can be a beautiful woman, but it's just not my style. That's okay. So someone can say the same thing about me. I'm just not like that. One individual said, she said, hey, I like guys that's heavy set. You're too light. I'm like, I'm too light? What? But that's what it was. So approach that person. Try for that job. Work on that business. Seek out that client. Play for that team. Try for that sport. The rejection is only temporary, because it's not like life is over from that, because you can go to another place and you can be accepted. So that is the proof that it's really not rejection, that it's just the preference. And we all have our preferences. Never forget that.